Hey everybody, and welcome back to Life with Lolo. It's time for our weekly recap of Power Book 3, Raising Kanan. This is Season 1, Episode 4, and it was titled Don't Sleep. I think I said the title right. It's so long. Anyway, y'all, before I jump into this recap review, if you are not already subscribed to my channel, please go ahead and hit that subscribe button and hit the notification bell to be notified when I drop new videos. And if you like this recap review, go ahead and hit that thumbs up button along with the share button. All right, y'all, let's just jump right into this. So we see these guys, it's maybe like 4 or 5 guys running on these steps. We hear Kanan or 50 giving like an overview of who the people are. So it turns out that it's Neek and his crew, and they're chasing this guy that Neek grew up with. They call Trash G. And he turned out to be like a crackhead or whatever like that. And I'm assuming Neek thinks that Trash G snitched him out to the cops, and that's why his stash got taken over. So they are chasing Trash G down the steps. They end up getting him. They tie him up to a chair, whatever like that. They beat him up. And Neek is like, beating him down, trying to get the answers out. And dude is like, I haven't said anything. I didn't give up the spot. I didn't snitch on you or nothing like that. Neek don't believe him, and then the dude ends up saying like, I love you or whatever, and then Neek was like, pow, shot him right in the head. I said, oh, that had scared me a little bit because I ain't see that coming. But then Neek was like, I love you too. Like his acting, he could have worked on a little bit, but other than that, the scene was what the scene was. And so he gives the dude the gun, and then he walks away. We see Kanan, he in the kitchen, he cooking spaghetti for his mom, because I guess once a week or whatever like that, Kanan ends up cooking for his mom and they have dinner together and so forth. So she coming in late, and he like, well, I come in late, you fussing at me, but here you go. And then he paused because behind her is Symphony. So he looking like, oh, why this nigga here or whatever like that. So she like, he was like, oh, y'all already ate. He was like, oh no, we just coming in, yada, yada, yada. So anyway, Symphony, he's trying to be nice to Kanan. He make it like, well, let me grab the plates while you grab the food. It smell good and stuff like that. They all go down. Symphony's still trying to be nice to Kanan. Kanan is not really, with it or whatever. So he being rude. He not really, replying back when Symphony asked him something. And then Symphony was like, I know that this is like a pop-up and I knew you wasn't expecting me, but something else and stuff. So he was like, yeah, you're right, I wasn't expecting you or whatever like that. And so then Rox tells us why Kanan is upset, and that's because they have dinner every night. And Symphony is like, oh, my bad, I didn't know before I took her out, but now that I do know, this won't happen again. And Kanan like, yeah, but she knew or whatever. So she's just looking like, oh my god. We see Nicole and Jukebox. They at Nicole's house. They're watching the video that they did at the mall and stuff. And then she ends up closing her door. I said, Lord, they about to bow Chicky Wow Wow. And they was about to, but then Nicole's mama came in. And so they had stopped and was like, oh, we just dancing. We was just dancing and stuff. Because they had like this little play wrestle where Nicole ended up on top, child. I said, ooh. So the mom came in, and then she was like, oh my God, y'all are on TV. Then she was like, no, Mom, we have recorded a video. Oh my God, Laverne, your voice is so beautiful. It's so beautiful. And then the dad, he think he the cool dad. Oh yeah, this is better than any shit I ever seen on TV. Well, you better watch your mouth. I'm sure Laverne has heard some things, haven't you? She was like, yeah, no doubt. Yeah, see, no doubt. No doubt. I was cracking up. I was cracking up. And then we see Marvin. He getting the ride of his life from the club owner, child. She going and going and going. She ends up, they finish Bow Chicky Wow Wow, and she ends up snorting some coke. He was like, no, I ain't into that. She was like, oh, so you just sell it. He was like, yeah. Child, she went to cuddle with him and go to sleep or whatever. He was not with that. He was like, I thought you dated black guys before. She was like, yeah, I have. He was like, so you should know that we don't cuddle. She was like, well, I dated other black guys and they like to cuddle or whatever. He was like, well, where all these cuddling ass niggas at? So he getting mad, and I don't know how it transpired, but he was like, well, I ain't gay, I ain't with that or whatever. She was like, what? And then he ended up looking at the dog and was like, LT look hungry or whatever. He ain't got no food again. She was like, yeah, I ran out of food. He was like, oh, you ran out of food yesterday, so the dog ain't eating the whole day, but I bet your ass ate. And she was like, yeah. He was like, oh, LT going with me. She was like, but that was a gift. You gave that to me. You can't just take him away or whatever. He was like, yeah, but I just gave you the D. You want me to leave that too? I was cracking up. I said, Marvin is a fool. He ends up getting mad, child, and leaving, because she was like, well, we just we're gonna end like that or something? He was like, yeah, we ain't even get started. What you talking about? I said, She thought they was in a whole relationship, child. He was like, yeah, no, not over here. Then we see Neek. He on the phone with Dean. That's the supplier, because we met him last episode. Child, Dean basically saying he ain't dropping off no more re-ups or nothing like that until the cops cool down, because they just raided Neek and stuff like that. So he ain't giving out no more drugs. So of course they don't really have nothing. So the crew like, well, we dry out here, we ain't got nothing up like that. And Neek like, well, look, y'all need to split it, y'all need to do all this stuff, y'all need to stretch that, make it some orange caps and stuff. They was like, well, how we gonna do that? We can't get these dope fiends stuff that was already stepped on or whatever. And he like, yo, I don't care what y'all doing, make it work. Like, y'all got to get this work or whatever. Then he start thinking, because he was real mad and hype and stuff, because you messing with his money. So he like, this got rocks all over it. I just got to figure out where I'm going to leave it to the body or pull it to the head or whatever. He going to beat somebody up or he going to kill somebody, basically. So he's trying to think what he going to do, what his next move is or whatever. We see Rox and Kanan in the kitchen. She ends up apologizing to Kanan for, bringing Symphony over or whatever. But she basically like, I'm not going to grovel to you and do all this begging for me living my life, basically, or whatever. So she like, I'm not begging for forgiveness. He was like, I ain't asked you to beg or nothing like that. She was like, yeah, okay. But what you need to be focused on is getting them grades up and not focused on who I'm dating and who I'm seeing or whatever. So she like, because I talked to the teacher and they said you still failing or whatever. So I set you up with this class. He was like, but I already got the paper. Too little, too late. You should have been did the paper. You didn't do the paper. So now you're going to be going to these night classes at the local college or whatever like that. He ain't really with it, but what he going to do? We see Famous. He in the studio putting down some tracks and stuff. The producer's basically telling them like, all that was corny until it came to the last line, which you laying down the body and stuff. You got to be hood. You got to be with the dope fiend and stuff. I'm like, Famous ain't even into all that. So what he really gonna rap about? The sister, she hyping him up, talking about some Famous was famous because we called him famous because he did a poem on the radio and stuff like that, and that's why we call him famous, and he gonna be the famous person in our family and stuff. And so the producer was like, yeah, that's nice and dandy, but ain't nobody listening to no poetry on the radio. He gonna have to step his game up. But if he signed with me, I'm going to get him to that top spot, and I got this local showcase. I could put him out there in front of everybody and he could be seen and yada, yada, yada. Of course, she eating it up. And then he like, well, we got to work a little bit closer. He basically just want to fuck. And she just is stupid. Like, okay, baby, okay, hugging him and stuff. Or Uncle Lou, he sees this because he's about to drop off a big baggie of the powdered sugar. So he sees all this or whatever. So he like throwing the dope at the dude. And then he looking at her. She like, oh, hey, baby. He like, yeah, can we talk? So he sent her outside. He was like, what is you doing? Like, she was like, well, I'm just trying to get Famous in the studio. I'm trying to be his advocate and stuff like that. Get him in there. He was like, well, what happened to you telling me that I could do his music and all this other stuff? She was like, yeah, but I can't wait for you to get set up and stuff. We need to make this happen now. And she was like, I believe in you and yada, yada, yada. And he was like, oh, okay. But he looking at her like, yeah, I got your number type thing. I think Lou is so cute. It's something with them eyes and how he look half asleep, half awake. And then he just, woo, child. I don't know. He is cute. It's cute to me. Anyway, that was pretty much it for them. We see Rox, she at the bodega and she checking out the door. They got all these locks on there. It's top, like the best locks, the best door, so can't nobody really break in and get the money and stuff like that. The dude who owned the spot, he thinking he in charge still. I don't know why he still think he in charge when Roxton told him the first day they met that he ain't in charge and basically he just getting paid to shut the beep up. But he want to know how much stuff gonna go back there, how much money gonna go back there. He want to know who gonna be coming in and out. She like, I don't owe you nothing. Like, you don't run nothing up in here and stop questioning me about my business. And so Lou and Marvin, they come in. Marvin come in with the dog. The dog start eating a big loaf of bread. I was just like, child. Rox telling the bodega guy, like, my man, don't let nobody else back there except for my people or whatever like that. and my people gonna come in here and bring stuff in here tonight or whatever. He like, well, how, what time, when? She was like, what I just tell you? I told you don't question me or whatever. This is my business. He was like, well, this is my place of business, and I need to know. She was like, this ain't your place of business no more. This is my place of business. And she threw all this money at him. The wife was looking like, wow. Like, she was just intrigued by Rox and how she was running things, because, you know, he'd be abusing her, and she like, damn, a woman stepping up to him, like, how, show me the ways. That's how she was looking at her. But anyway, we see Davina and Kanan, because, you know, they're a couple now or whatever, and they just chatting about what happened with Symphony and how he got signed up for this class and yada yada yada. What's the face? He goes the opposite way. So Nick pulls up behind Davina, and he just talking to her, was like, oh, what's going on with Bud? I heard you, I know you was holding Buck down, you know, what's going on with your mama and stuff like that. And he was telling her that he saw her mom, and her mom was out, cracked out, doped up or whatever. And that she not all the way gone. She's still there a little bit, because she proud of Davina, because she was like, yeah, my daughter just took down somebody who was clowning her about Buck or some shit like that. And so he gets out the car and starts walking with her down the street. You can obviously see she uncomfortable with him, because she know what he about and all the other stuff. So he starts saying how some dude he used to hang with was cracked out just the way her mama was, but he got him some help, got him some rehab and stuff like that, and basically he can do the same thing for Davina's mama, but she gotta, if she scratch his back, he'll scratch hers and get her clean and stuff. He's talking about something. The place was so nice, I just want to be a dope fiend, and so I could get up there and relax or whatever. I said, child, bye. So she was like, all right, well, I don't want nothing to happen to Kanan, because at first it was like he was trying to put some rift between them two, saying like Kanan had something to do with Buck, but she was like, well, we already said that, had that conversation, and he already said nothing happened. He was like, oh, okay. So, but you know what was y'all talking about or whatever. So he trying to get her to snitch on Kanan and get some information. And she was like, well, I'll give you some information as long as nothing don't happen to Kanan or whatever, because she went to rehab for her mama. So she was like, well, last week I saw him coming out of this house. And he was like, oh, okay, what the house look like? So she started telling him about the stash house. I said, Lord. We see a little scene where Kanan and Juke was playing on a video game or whatever at the store, at the pizza shop, the arcade game. So Famous come in, Famous telling them like how he in the studio, he getting studio time, he gonna be in this showcase and stuff like that, and how he might put Juke on and help her out and yada yada yada. She get upset because she basically been trying to save up money and all this other stuff to get studio time, and boom, here go Famous just getting studio time like that. So she like, what the like, come on now. So she runs out of there or whatever like that. Kanan had to tell him like, look, because he was like, well, what's wrong with her? So Kanan had to tell him like, look, you just popped up getting studio time, and she been working her ass off for studio time or whatever. So then we see Marvin, he knocking on the door or somebody's door. Turn out it's the dude who be sitting in the stash house with Kanan. He then had some bad Chinese food or whatever, child. So his stomach all messed up. Marvin like, well, we gotta move this food. I said food. We gotta move this stuff from the stash house to the bodega. He like, man, I ain't moving nothing. Didn't I just tell you my stomach upset? He was like, yeah, but we got a bathroom at the stash house. You be okay. He was like, man, my ass is leaking. I'm not going nowhere. So he stabs the door at Marvin's face. So we see Juke, she going to the diner where Uncle Lou and them stuff at, and she mad because she like, Uncle Lou, how you getting Famous studio time and all this other stuff, and I'm up here saving pennies and yada. Oh no, I'm sorry, that was I skipped ahead or whatever. What had happened, child? We saw Juke fussing to Kanan about what was going on, and she was saying she was saving pennies and stuff like that. Then we see Marvin pull up on Kanan and basically telling Kanan he need to help him at the stash house. Kanan was like, no, because mom got me set up with this class. No, mom told me to stay away. But Marvin like, she ain't gonna know. Let's head on out to the stash house. I said, Then we see Rox. She in an apartment and she asking for 2 units one on the 7th floor, or not one on the 7th floor, but one above each other. So it don't matter what floor it's on as long as the apartments is above each other or whatever like that. The guy at first was like, no, I ain't got nothing. But then she gave him a stack of money. And he was like, well, I might have something on the seventh floor. She was like, yeah, and the other one got to be on the 8th floor right on top of the other one. So he was like, all right, I got you. So then we see Juke fussing to Uncle Lou about the free studio time because she going to the diner and she's fussing about him. He was like, I ain't do that. Jenny did that. I ain't had nothing to do with that or whatever like that. So she was like, well, can you do me a favor and stuff? He was like, look, doing favors is just another way of somebody have you underneath their thumb. Like, you don't want that or whatever like that. And she was like, look, you can help me out or whatever. He was like, if I try to help you out, I give you the money, but then your father gonna be like, that's my daughter, I want to help her out, and you can't help her out. And she was like, yeah, I understand that, and I don't even want you to give me the money for her or nothing like that. I just wanted you to hook me up, but since you can't hook me up, it's all right or whatever. So then she ends up leaving, and Uncle Lou gave her some food when she was on her way out. She was calling the crew up, the ones who be robbing and stuff, and they ain't want to help her. So it was like, and it's a bunch of guys, and then it's her. So they probably ain't want to help her because she a female, and because the whole rule is that one person make the call, everybody show up. But when it came to her, they didn't want to show up. So I felt that was kind of like, Or it might be because she had stopped the dude, Rip? From beating up on a security guy, and so maybe they got an issue with it or whatever, but they didn't want to help her pull off this Rip or whatever. So we see Marvin, Kanan, they pull up to the stash house and stuff like that. We saw Neek and his dude watching them, so he was like, oh, okay, this is where the drugs at or whatever. We see Juke. She gonna rob the same truck that they just robbed. She go rob the damn truck again. She go in there looking. She looking for a polo jacket. So she come out with the polo coat. She running. She feel like she got away and stuff like that. I said something to happen. And sure enough, the security guy got her on the outside when she was casually walking. He hemmed her up. And he was like, wait, man, I know you. And that was the security guy that she stopped Rip from beating up on or killing, basically. So he was like, all right, I'm gonna let you go this time, but don't come back again, because the next time I'm not gonna let you go. So he let her go. She was like real excited about that. We see Kanan and Marvin. The stash house, child, it look a mess. There's drugs all over the place. There's money all over the place. It's a mess. And the money's supposed to be bundled up. The drugs, everything's supposed to be neat and bundled up. But it's not. So they got to clean up, put all the stuff in boxes to carry over to the bodega. So they doing that or whatever. Mind you, Nick and his boy was watching. So, child. So they wasting time cleaning up because it wasn't cleaned up. So then they got to take it over to the bodega. So we see Marvin. He ends up leaving Kanan in there, telling Kanan, look, I'm going to take the first half to the bodega. I'm going to leave you here to clean up the rest of the stuff, box it up, have it by the door so, we can get that, then you can go on get. I said, now, why are you going to leave him at the stash house by himself? Like, what? But that's what Marvin going to do, child. So then we see Laverne or Jukebox or whatever. She back with Nicole. Nicole trying on the jacket. She tells Nicole what happened, how the security guard let her go. And Nicole like, that's karma, good karma, yada, yada, yada. So then she was like, oh, let me take this coat off because, I don't want to mess it up. She was like, well, I'm giving this to you because I want you to think about me every time you wear that jacket. She was like, girl, I think about you each and every time. Her song came on, she started dancing, and then Nicole started singing to Jukebox and stuff. The next thing we see, she bowed cheeky wow wow with Jukebox. That was Jukebox first time, but Nicole, she approached, she said, just think of something that you want, think of something happy and do what feels good to you, baby. So that was it. At the stash house, Kanan boxing up the stuff like he was supposed to. Nick, they called the crew up. So they ends up shooting down the door. One dude put a gun to Kanan's head. They start taking the boxes and putting them in the van and stuff like that. Marvin, he locking up the bodega doors and stuff. He done snatched up 5 cans of dog food. Why the man was like charging him for 5 cans of dog food. And so then he in his car. The people putting the stuff in the van, yada, yada, yada. Marvin pulled up, see what's going on. He said, these motherfuckers. So he pulled up, goes hard on his gas, and bam, right into the back of the van. The van wasn't messed up. His car is messed up. And then Marvin proceeds to shoot through the windshield at the van. I said, why he just ain't get out the car? Like, you messing up your car and then you shooting through the windshield. Like, what? Why? But I guess the windshield and the car was like his protection, like his bulletproof or whatever. But he still could have died because the man had a shotgun. So what? But at any rate, he ain't hit nobody. All he did was hit the van. The van still had the stuff in there, the stash in there. So then all they did was pull off with the stash. Marvin goes inside and sees that it's a guy still in there with a gun up to Kanan's head. So he like, yo, you know who this is? He was like, yeah, I know who this is. And then he shot him. So then when he shot the guy started flopping on the floor like a fish out of water. I said, I ain't never seen nobody do that in all the movies. But he started flopping like a little fish out of water. Then Marvin ended up shooting him again. The blood gets all over, because at first when he fell the first time and the man was flopping like a fish, he fell on top of Kanan. Kanan rolled him over. He was still flopping. Marvin shot him again. When he shot him again, the blood spattered all on Kanan, so he got blood on his shirt from when the man fell on him, blood on his face when Marvin shot him, and then Kanan then threw the hell up. So he was like, did you get hit? He was like, no, I ain't get hit. He was like, all right, well, let's get cleaned up. He's like, my mama gonna kill me. He was like, you should have just let him kill me, because as soon as my mama find out that I was here, she gonna kill me. He was like, your mom won't find out. Just get yourself cleaned up and go into the house. So he mad, because he like, this one of Nick's dudes. He mad, because he gonna have to get this message out to Rox what just happened. So you know she gonna be pissed the hell off. He ran home. Rox like, you late. He like, I'm on my way. I was playing video games with the crew and stuff like that. So he go upstairs, take the bloody shirt off, hide it underneath his bed. I said, boy. And then he goes, puts on a new shirt, and then he runs downstairs. Rox is taking him to the school or the college or whatever like that. And she's basically telling like, look, give Stephanie a chance and stuff like that. I don't really like this dude. Give him a chance, yada, yada, yada. He goes inside the college, child. Why is Symphony teaching the class? Kanan looking like, the fuck? So, at home, while Kanan / 50 Cent giving this voiceover or whatever, Rock's going in Kanan's room getting his dirty clothes up because she about to wash laundry and stuff like that. And of course she finds the bloody shirt, because all he did was hide it underneath his messy bed. And she finds the bloody shirt, so she's just looking at it real stuck like, the f is going on here. And that's how it ended, child. I said, this finna be a whole entire mess. Y'all let me know what y'all thought about the episode. I feel like this episode gave us the most than the other episodes. And this episode 4, I hope it picks up. Like, when Power Book 2 came out, it really was kind of dry at the beginning. But like, the last 5 episodes, it really picked up. But I was really more so watching Power Book 2 for Kane and his family and stuff like that. But hopefully this will pick up at episode 5 and 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Because right now it's just kind of like, But I feel like this episode, it gave us a little bit more than the other episodes. But at any rate, y'all let me know what y'all thought about this episode down below. Again, if you are not subscribed to my channel, please go ahead and hit that subscribe button and hit the notification bell to be notified when I drop new videos. And if you end up liking this recap review, go ahead and hit that thumbs up button along with the share button. And I will see y'all in my next video. Until next time, peace.